Okay. Wacha nitaka kuzungumza na Nija what is this subject? This should be asset financial management. That's it. Yeah. Good. We just have to understand the subject itself. What is asset? Because we have to know what we mean when we are talking about this subject itself. What is asset? What is asset? Asset. What is asset? Something happening back. Something happening back. Can you give an example of an asset? An example? Machine. Desk. Computers. Houses. So many. So many. Chairs. Because we should be mentioning things like this. Okay. So asset is anything that has got value. How about finance or financial? Financial. Financial. What is it? In fact, we were talking about the subject itself, because before we start, we have to understand what we mean when we are talking about it. And then I was asking Yvonne to say, what is asset? What is asset? Asset. Yvonne answered, so I want you to also answer. What is asset?
It's like something that is of value.
Good. Is that something that has got value? That's an asset. Give an example of an asset.
The buildings.
Buildings, chairs you are seated on, desk, computers, so many. So when we are talking of an asset in asset financial management, it's an item of property owned by a person or a company regarded as having value and available to meet debt, commitment, and legacy. Okay? So if we're talking about assets, we're talking about three things in financial management. We're talking about value, that it can pay debt. Again, it has a commitment of legacy. So examples can be property, resources, estate, holdings, possessions, effects, goods, variables, belongings, chattels, goods, and possessions. There are so many that we can mention in connection of assets. So we know already about assets in these other subjects that we have ever learned, and we are saying that there are three types of assets. Can you be reminded, can I be reminded of these assets? Three types of assets. One, accounting, balance sheet. It is many good things that if you are talking about assets. That is also. Good. Current assets. We have current assets. The other one? Fixed. Maybe we should give examples of current assets. What are current assets? For example, what are examples of current assets? Cash. Cash in bank. Cash at hand. Those are the examples of current. How about fixed assets?
Maybe
Land, buildings, so many things. Okay. So then the third one, which is the last one? What is the last one? We go to the balance sheet. It's the easiest way of being managing assets. Mayua, have you forgotten? Liabilities are they not assets? Liabilities? Are they assets or not? Maybe what are the liabilities? What are liabilities? liability in Ngongole. Siku makatiza Ngongole kubangi, that's not an asset. Nimasha tima kukatenga chingongole china kuti mwina tigule china cha. Not that. Okay. So when we are talking about, let's say, fixed assets, we have already given examples for that, and then we just have to look into details about them, because that's what we want to understand. Maybe we start with current assets and fidget. We have said cash and those other assets which have been made or purchased merely to be sold and converted into cash are known as current assets. Is that true? Yes. Anything that also is something that we want to sell, okay, is going to be converted into cash. That also is a current asset. It is from the turnover of current assets that a business makes its trading profit. So examples are inventory in trade, inventory receivables, cash temporary investment. These we rent in, let's say, costing, that when we have inventory expected to be converted into cash, those are also taken as current assets. So we have, let's say, for example, inventory when sold creates trade receivables. Those trade receivables pay their debts in cash by means of which more inventory can be acquired. So the cycle moves around like that, and current assets are kept constantly moving if we are talking of current assets. Resolution. I don't know the dean, but I think we must learn. Because if I class yet, Tina Puzira did that old Tuesday. Wednesday, and talking to one. Tuesday. Zero assurance. What is assurance? Okay. Reporting, financial reporting, that's the year. That's the year, son. Okay. That's the year, who is the third year work? What's the year who work out for the year? I don't remember. There's another minute. Okay, this is a Victor who is on the same yes. Then you put the other line for this program, if we can. So they're saying that whether an asset is fixed or current depends entirely upon the kind of business that you are doing. What is a fixed asset? In one film may be a current asset. Okay? So it depends on how you do it. For example, we can think about something to do with A tractor is normally a fixed asset, but to others it can be a current. How? They can be renting it and it's bringing cash to what? To the organization. You get the point? That's why they're specifying here that it depends on the type of business that you're doing. A current asset or a fixed asset can be a current asset in another organization, based on how they do it. Okay? Somebody in school has got a minibus, and the minibus goes for picking up people and then giving them money, bringing to the organization. It means that is going to be taken as a current asset, not a fixed asset. A fixed asset is like the one that we have that is going to be picking you from here to there on the normal, let's say, doings of the organization. That we don't want it to be giving us cash, but it's going to be performing the organization activity. I hope I'm clear. Good. So if we talk of assets, those are the types of assets, but we have again tangible and intangible assets. I thought this is going to confuse you when we talked about types, but it should not, because these are just not types, but they're just a kind of asset. So there can be a tangible and intangible asset. What is a tangible asset? What is a tangible asset?
It's one that is in physical.
Yes, that has got a physical form. Example of a physical form or a tangible asset. Chairs, machinery, land, building. On the other hand, assets which cannot be possessed in a physical sense, which are not no legal rights against external persons, these are intangible. Can you give an example of intangible assets?
Copyright.
Come again?
Copyright.
Yes, or copyright. Goodwill. You can't touch it, but it's an asset. How? It's an asset in that you cannot just do something that somebody has done, the example that he has given. You say, no, this even that men are my leader, who is the children leader, no, whoever is called. Come again? Come again? I want to be one of them. If you sing like him, he's going to say, no, I'm thinking as I did. That's my asset. I can't use it. She can't use it. So that's what she's intending. Goodwill. If today, shop like clothes, I go in with my shop, different name, but people are going to have that feeling that it's for the services are just the same as they were. So goodwill and so many that we can mention are also one of the intangible assets that we can think about. Then we should also talk about the valuation of assets. Generally speaking, non-current assets represent money which has been spent in a past on the items which were intended to be used to earn revenue for the future. In many cases, these non-current assets depreciate over a period of years and may finally have to be scrapped. Therefore, the money spent originally on a fixed asset should be spread out over the number of years of the estimated life of an asset. So an item representing depreciation will be debited to the profit and loss account annually. What are we talking about? we are talking about if we have a fixed asset, we are not going to have it as the price or the value the same. It's going to depreciate. And we are going to be calculating yearly to say this is the depreciation of the asset yearly. And this is what they're telling us, that we should not forget that apart from that, it has to be debited to the profit and loss. It's an expense. Therefore, it has to be debited into the profit and loss. I hope I'm clear. Because we deduct the depreciation from the cost of the asset, the fixed asset is shown as the diminishing figure in the balance sheet each year, unless, of course, there have been additions to the asset during the year. The decrease in the value of the fixed asset is also shown as an expense in the annual profit and the loss. So this is what we're saying. We're saying that every time you have to depreciate, unless you have done something on that asset, maybe you have added something on top of it, it means the value is going to change. As a result, you are going to put that expense into the profit and loss account, so that you have used it for it to be maybe maintained or to be done as you wish it to be done. According to the cost outline, we have corporate management objectives. I've not gone into the financial and the management because these we already know. We are finance officers and management of finance we know. But today we are going to be talking about the financial management of the assets that brings money to the organization. So that's what it is. So in the cost outline, we have the corporate objective, corporate management objective. Corporate management objective. If we talk of corporate, we are talking of a company and organization. So what are the corporate management objectives? The main objective of corporate management is to effectively and efficiently utilize the resources. Effectively and efficiently utilize the resources. The resources include staff appointed, the technology used in the equipment put to work and sustain positive performance. What are we talking? We're talking about the efficiency and the effectiveness of the utilization of resources. Apart from that, even the staff that we have appointed, even technology that we use, these are also taken that is how are they being used, or how do we see the positivity of their performance. So we have talked about the two current and fixed assets. Now we go to the liabilities. Liabilities are long-term or current liabilities. Long-term or current liabilities. Long-term liabilities are long liabilities which are those normally to be repaid within 12 months. Ngongoli is what is typically within 12 months, more than 12 months. How about current liabilities? These are short term. Current liabilities consist of current trading debt due to payment in the near future. It is essential that long-term and current liabilities are stated separately in the balance sheet, so that shareholders and the third parties can judge whether the current assets are sufficient to meet the current liabilities and also provide sufficient working capital accordingly. So we are talking about the current liabilities, short-term liabilities. There we are thinking about they should be separated, as was already said, in the balance sheet. Why? Because the long-term liabilities are going to be repaid after 1 year, while the short-term are going to be paid in the near future. As a result, this is compared to the cash that we have compared to the short-term liabilities to see whether we are financially standing, or we can be taken to be an organization that has got funds at that time. Because what happens normally is they will weigh you to say how much do you owe other people and how much do you have at hand. So they will subtract from your money, and the balance is what they're going to judge you as a company to say how are you performing. Either you are profiting or you are making loss. So financial objectives. There are 3 objectives in connection of finance: shareholders' wealth, profitability, and growth in earnings per share. So we look into assets finance, because that's what we as the asset financial managers are going to manage. What is the meaning of asset finance? Asset finance is a type of lending that gives you access to business assets such as equipment, machinery, and vehicle, or enables you to release cash from the value in assets you already own. Asset finance includes equipment, leasing, hire purchase, and asset refinance. We are talking about asset finance. If we are talking about asset finance, we are talking about the lending of the assets in our business that we do, for example, equipment, machinery, vehicle, for us to have cash. I gave you an example of a tractor, to say you can have tractors in your shop, in your company, but all those tractors or all those machinery are going to be lended by other people. They are going to hire them. So this is what we are talking about when we are talking about asset finance. So that is why we are learning this subject, to say how are we going to manage the asset financing, or the money that we get from the equipment that we have for cash. How are we going to manage that? That's our subject. It's very important. There is no company that has no assets. Never. Every company, this small it can be, it has assets. So how are we going to manage them if they are for bringing cash in the organization? That's why we are supposed to learn how we can go and manage when we are there in the organization. So how does asset finance work? How does it work? Asset finance is a type of finance used by businesses to obtain the equipment they need to grow. It usually involves paying a regular charge to use the asset over an agreed period of time, avoiding the full cost of buying outright. The most common type of asset finance are leasing and hire purchase. So leasing and hire purchase. What is leasing? But we have ever heard about leasing. Leasing, what is leasing? Leasing. Please sit down, that is the wrong. Maybe we have heard, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Lease. In a lease, ownership lies with the lessor. The lease has the right to use the equipment and does not have the option to purchase. Whereas, no, let's leave the lease. Lease, mwabwirika, mukupereka ndalama pang'ono kuti listen monthly mwabwirika. Tingati haya tingati yelekeze ngati mene amachitira chani. Ngati mwene timachita haya magari moto. Mwachita haya magari moto. Mwachita pali magari moto special for leseka haya. Mumachita haya mumangopereka ndalama. But you can't have access to buying that vehicle. That's the lease. Okay? Maybe you can take it for let's say a month. I remember that time when my car was at the garage. Not now, sometime when I had the other car. I had no car, and yet we had a wedding for my daughter. Just at that same time. Then what I did was I had to lease a car that I usually used to move with. So I had to pay money. I kept it for about 3 days. Then I started giving it back. That time my car came back. That is legal. Because I didn't have that chance of buying it, but using it, paying the amount of money. Letter, okay? Letter, no access of buying. So when we're talking of hire purchase has the option to purchase the equipment or the asset. The hire becomes the owner of the asset or equipment immediately after the last installment is paid. So what are we saying here? The one that hires can buy the asset. This is maybe because you are young, otherwise as elderly, we know this is the common in Malawi. And that's why most women have got cars in Lyon. What they do is somebody buys a car to say, I'm going to give you a one. You will be paying me. Let's say the car is about, can you estimate the amount of the car that we should be talking about? 4 million. Good. So 4 million is the amount that somebody is supposed to pay back to the one that has been given. Let's say this one. So it is going to be saying, you are going to be giving me 200,000 every month. So you are going to be deducting from the amount that you are supposed to pay back up to this last installment. If you have paid that one for the last time that you have finished the 4 million, it means that car is yours. That's how most people buy vehicles. Here in Malawi it's very common, and it used to be very common back at that time. But that was very common. So that type of asset financing is higher budget. Higher. Any question? It's fine. What is the difference between higher budget and the lease?
In lease, the rate is not fixed to the product, while in higher purchase, the borrower uses the product and it becomes theirs after they are finished paying the last installment.
So that is what is there. So lease and higher purchase is an exact solution to that kind of financial arrangement where the cash commitment is spread over the life of the asset, and on the top, lease financing does not even require any initial capital outflow also. Hence, under lease, the entrepreneur can use this capital for other working capital requirements. So this is what it is all about when we are talking about lease. So we have to see into it the differences between lease and hire purchase. Lease and hire purchase. One, in lease, as we have already said, ownership lies with the lessor. No, the one that has been borrowed is the receipt, but the lessor is the one that has borrowed us. Email, you need the asset, I'm the lessor. Mufamiwa watching the receipt, okay? So maybe I didn't explain well, but the lessor, meaning here we have read receipt, no access, receipt. Okay, lessor is the owner. Okay. So ownership lies in the hands of the owner of the what? Of the asset. There, when you are talking of lease. While hire purchase, the hire becomes the owner of the asset. So, in the first place, if you are talking about differences, you can write like that. If I happen to ask, that is, differences. One, ownership. Ownership, access for the owner, asset for the borrower. In fact, the language in the book is not what I'm writing, but for you to understand better. Then we have again depreciation. Depreciation, lesser claims the depreciation, while here the higher claims the depreciation. Lesser owner claims. This is what then here the higher claims. Okay? So the differences of her purchase and the lease. Then we have duration. Duration, done longer duration, done shorter duration. Duration. 3. Duration. Shorter. Duration, longer duration, shorter. Longer. Then we have 4 differences of it and the advantage. We have payments. Rental payments are the cost of using the asset. Okay? While in the hire purchase, payments include the principal amount and the effective interest. You get the point? If let's say somebody bought a car and you say you are going to pay 4 million, it means you did buy that amount. It means interest is already included. If he's going to say you are going to give me for Nagasi, business, the profit. Yes? So, ukakarabutu kuti muntu uyu aza kulagana mulyango uma idea about profit, isn't it? Yeah. So this is what they are telling us to say. Payment, rentals are the cost using the asset. While in the higher purchase, it is the principal as well as the interest is added on top of the payment. Is it fine? Clear, everyone? Good. So we are saying if the payments now agreed cost. Agreed cost to pay, while here it's principal plus interest that you are going to be paying monthly. Then we have tax impact. Tax impact on the lease is going to be lease rentals categorized as expenditure by the lease. Okay? Tax. While here, on the interest component is categorized as expenditure by the higher. Okay? So what are we saying? Tax impact. When I'm going to ask you about differences between lease and higher purchase, okay? Okay? So we're saying tax, impact, lease, rental, categorized expenditure by the lease. While here is only interest. Interest only. Tax payment. While here it's the what? I think I said what? Tax impact these rental categories expenditure by the lessee.
Okay.
Expenditure